lecture of mixed signal IC design. Here in this lecture, we will continue from where we stopped in the previous class. The previous class we discussed about bootstrap sampling switch. So we were looking at the sampling related issues, and we saw that one is bandwidth limitation and another one is the non-linearity, which is giving harmonic distortion. So the one thing what we understood is the resistance of the switch should be independent of the input signal. So in order to do that, in order to make the resistance independent of the input signal, what we observed from the circuit is, or from the MOSFET is, the VGS value, VGS should be independent of Vin or input. That will ensure linear operation, as you can see here on this. When your VGS is independent of Vin, that will lead to linear operation. This by how can we do that is basically by connecting VG to a potential of VDD plus Vin, so that your VGS will remain at VDD. So this is what we discussed the other day. Now, based on that, we understood that we need to have a battery connected there. We cannot directly keep a battery. That is why we are charging a capacitor and we placing there. Now, when we do that also, we should also see this entire thing should work for sampling and hold phase. That is how we have actually kept all the switches intact. So you can, if you just number the switches, you will see that you have switches. Let me just number from here just for a reference. So this is your switch number 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, and this is 5. So even though we wanted to have one switch for a sampling circuit, we ended up having another additional 5 switches, for the reason that we want to make the resistance, we want to make the resistance of the switch, on resistance of the switch, linear with respect to or to make independent of the input voltage. Right now, today what we'll do is we'll spend some time in understanding how we can properly choose these switches from 1 to 5. And also we'll see how we can, when we go for IC implementation, after placing an appropriate switch, because now we have the choice whether the switches from 1 to 5, we can have an NMOS based switch, a PMOS based switch, or a transmission gate switch. We have these 3 choices. So now we will see how we will make this choice and how we will also appropriately connect the substrate terminal of these switches or these transistors to appropriate voltages. So because that is also important, because I hope that you'll remember about NMOS and the devices, NMOS and PMOS devices. So depending on the technology, what we'll have, see whether it is NVEL based technology or PWEL based technology or twin tub or any modern CMOS process technology. Generally, what we have is, in the case of NVEL based technology, let me explain it over here. So in NVEL technology, we'll have a P substrate. A P substrate will be there, and NMOS devices will be on this native P substrate. So this is P substrate. NMOS devices will be here. This is how you will make NMOS devices. So how many NMOS devices you have? All these NMOS devices will be on this P substrate. So you can number this as NMOS device number 1. This is number 2. And one thing what you can observe is when you have NMOS devices on a substrate P substrate, all these NMOS devices body should be connected to a same potential, because we have only one option here, that is the body or the terminal from the substrate, and that can be connected to only one potential. So how many NMOS devices you have, all the NMOS devices body will be connected to single potential, and most likely, not most likely, always we will connect that terminal to ground. So the reason is because we know that we want to make all the other junctions. So in a MOSFET device, we are expecting that the current should flow only from source to drain, and all the other junctions, all the other PN junctions should be actually reverse biased. In order to keep all the other PN junctions, is basically the substrate source and substrate drain PN junctions. To keep it reverse bias, we will connect the body to the least potential. And in the case of NVEL technology, where all the devices are on the native substrate, we have only one option, or there is no option basically to connect it. But in the case of in the case of NVEL, if you look at PMOS, so we will have NVEL, and inside this NVEL only we will have the P plus substrate. Sorry, inside this NVEL only we will actually make PMOS devices. So here, generally what we do is we'll actually have P-wells for each and every PMOS device. So this is PMOS device number 1. And if you have one more PMOS, we can have NVELs of this type. So what option you will get here is, for every PMOS, the designer, or we will have, whenever this is your source, drain, gate, and when this becomes the body terminal, we have the option to connect this body terminal to appropriate potential, right? So in the case of NVEL technology, NMOS body will be always connected to ground. But PMOS body, we have the freedom to connect to suitable potential. So this we should know in the case of NVEL. Similarly, in the case of P-well technology, I'll just write it over here. This is something I am sure that you would have learned in your digital VLSI design course. So in the case of P-well technology, PMOS body will be connected to VDD, or the highest potential. And there you have the freedom of connecting NMOS body to suitable potential. That we have the freedom because the individual body terminals will be available, right? So these are the basic process technologies available. There are many modern CMOS process as well, which is available, right? So why we are discussing this is, now when we go back to this bootstrap switch, where you have 5 additional switches now in order to get a linear operation of the switch. For my every choice of switch for transistors number 1 to 5, I should also see what appropriate voltage can be connected to the body terminal, right? So what I'll do here is, I'll just make a list of switches. So I have 5 switches in total. I will make a list of switches. Here I'll make my choice of what type of switch I should use. And here I'll also mention about the substrate connection of each switch. So this is what we are actually going to do now, right? So I'll just number the switches as the number what I have used there, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And you can see the numbers what I have taken is from here. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Right. So let us discuss about every switch, and then we'll come back and write here what type of switch I can use and what substrate connection I can give. Now, before going to that, or before looking at what type of switch, let us see the different options to implement switches. So if you look at the different options to implement switches, we have, one is to use an NMOS switch. We'll see the different scenarios where we use all these 3 kind of switches. Second is to use a PMOS switch. And the third is to actually use a transmission gate switch. Right. Now I'm just marking this as 5. If this is 5, that is 5 bar, this is 5 bar, and this is 5. Now look at the terminals, the N terminals, or what we want to pass through the switch. Say what I want to pass here is a voltage Vx, and the switch, if I'm assuming that the switch is a closed switch, even the right side we'll also get the value of this Vx. Right. Now when will we use this NMOS based switch? Can I get some response from you guys? Generally, when we'll use an NMOS based switch?
When you have to connect it to ground.
Yeah. So the use of NMOS makes sense when your Vx, this Vx is very small, right? So basically, if I want to equalize small voltages, when we want to equalize small voltages, we can actually go for an NMOS based switch, right? Now, in the same way, when we use this PMOS, when we want to equalize some large voltages, right? So large voltages is nothing more than VDD, but we look for Vx. When Vx is large, we go for PMOS based switch. And finally, the transmission gate is when the voltages what you need to equalize varies from when your Vx varies from small to large. This is what generally we will use the switches. Right. Now, let us come back and look at the first switch what we need. So the first switch, if you let me just look at the circuit diagram. Yeah, the first switch is this. The first switch is here, which I marked that the clock should be 5-1. Now, let us see the voltages on both sides of the switch, and based on that, we will actually make a choice. So if you look at this side of the switch, what I need here is a voltage. The voltage on this side will actually vary from V in, right? This will be V in. And on the other side, you can see that what is the voltage variation on the other side. Can I get a response in the chat? So I'm just marking about switch 1. Switch 1, you have a switch here. We know that this clock is 5-1. On one side, the voltage is V in. What is the voltage on the other side? This side. Yeah, one on this side, the voltages can be 0, that is ground, or it can be actually VDD from this side, because you can see that whenever the switch is closed, you can actually have a variation up to VDD, right? Sorry, very sorry. On the other side, you have just a 0, correct? But now, yeah. So since this side is actually V in, and we know that V in can actually vary from, or what we want is basically V in can vary from 0 to VDD. What is the most appropriate selection for the switch? Since one terminal, what we are expecting is having a variation from a small to large value, the appropriate selection of the switch 1 will be transmission gate as per our discussion, right? So this should be transmission gate switch, right? I hope you agree to this. So I'll make a selection here. So the first switch is a transmission gate switch. So when I say transmission gate switch, I'll just mark it here. This side, what I need is V in. The other side, what I have is 0, as Tejas, yes, you mentioned it is 0, or the same V in. We want to pass this V in. So the other clock cycle, that node can go to 0, right? So looking at V in, and as we know that V in, we are expecting a variation from 0 to VDD. Transmission gate will be the most appropriate selection. And if you look at the clock signals, you should have a clock of, this is 5. I'll mark it as 5-1, and this as 5-1 bar, right? So look at this. I'll just explain here. On this side of the switch, the variation here is V in, and the other side, the variation is the same V in can come, or it can be 0. So here it is 0 or V in. So since V in, the variation what we are expecting is from 0 to VDD, we use a transmission gate switch, and the clock of this is 5-1. So for the PMOS device, the clock should be 5-1 bar. Now, what about the substrate connection? Substrate connection, we know that NMOS will be connecting to ground. It should be connected to ground. So let me do that connection here. You have NMOS device here that will be connected to ground, and PMOS device should be connected to its own connection. We can actually give its own connection. When I say its own connection, it is appropriate to actually connect it to V in itself, to the one side of it. So V in itself. So I'll just mark it here. PMOS should be connected to V in. Right. So this is about our first switch. Right. Now, if you look back to the circuit again, so this selection is done. And now if you look at second switch is right away here. Again, if you see the voltages what this switch need to equalize, on left side it is 0. On the right side, it is coming 0 or V in. Right. So even though the voltage coming there is 0 or V in, what I need to equalize is basically 0. So what type of switch I can use? Can I get your response in the chat? The second one, yeah, it is obviously it is an NMOS switch. So we'll mark here as NMOS, and the clock signal of this NMOS switch is phi 2, and this side it is 0, this side it is V in or 0. But we know that what I want to equalize here is 0, so I am making a selection of NMOS switch. So second switch is NMOS, and the ground connection or the body of this NMOS switch should be connected to ground. There is no doubt in that. All right. So switches 1 and 2 are done. Now, if you go back to the circuit, so these two are done. Now, let us quickly look at the switch number 5. So if you look at switch number 5, here the voltage is 0. And this side, your voltage will be, what is the voltage at this node? Here it will be V in plus VDD. This is what I want to pass. That will be the voltage there, right? It will be either VDD or VDD plus V in. No, it will be VDD plus V in only. But now, since I want to, the voltage, what I want to equalize here is 0. Even the most appropriate choice for that will be definitely an NMOS. I don't think you will disagree with me in that. So I'll also make a choice here. And the fifth switch is NMOS switch, where what I have here is V in plus VDD, but what I want to equalize is 0. And looking at the clock pulse, it should be phi 2, because that is what I want to, the gate of the main transistor should be connected to ground, and that is done with the help of this phi 2. So again, looking at the body of this NMOS device, the body will be connected to ground itself. There is no doubt. Right. Now we have two more switches. What we have added here as switches number 3 and 4. So first, let us look at this switch where you have switch number 4. Let us see that in little detail. So this is switch number 4. If you look at the circuit, I have connected that switch on the, let us see what are the terminals on the left and right side. So the switch, the clock is phi 1. On the right side, the voltage will be V in plus VDD. On the left side, then the voltage will be, what is the voltage on the left side coming? It will be VDD plus V in, or it will be VDD, right? Even on the right side, you will have V in plus VDD. On the right side, you have VDD, or as well as you will get also a 0 voltage. So if you look at that, if you look at this on the left side, you have VDD or VDD plus V in. Now on the right side, you have 0 voltage, or you have VDD plus V in. All right. Now, what switch will be suitable here? In this case, definitely I can say that NMOS is not suitable. NMOS is not suitable. Right. Now, if NMOS is not suitable, I can say that to some extent, transmission gate is also not suitable. All right. Now, if these two are not there, my only choice left is a PMOS. And if I look at that, Yeah. So looking at the clock of this, we see that the clock is 5-1. The clock is 5-1. So now, since I am making a choice as PMOS device, the clock should be 5-1 bar. So this is 5-1 bar. On left side, the maximum voltage which is coming is Vin plus VDD, and on the other side, you can see that, yeah. So whenever the switch is on, you will have this one VDD or VDD plus Vin. All right. So now, now can you tell me what is a suitable voltage what I can connect to the body of this device? Can I get some response?
VDD.
Yeah, it is actually VDD, but you can see that your voltage is actually going even more than VDD, because one side it can go up to VDD plus Vin. So it is appropriate actually to tie this to VDD plus Vin in order to make sure that the junctions will remain reverse biased. Right. So since the voltage is exceeding VDD, by seeing that it is going from VDD plus Vin, it is most appropriate actually to connect it to a voltage of VDD plus Vin. Is that clear? So what we are looking is transistor number 4. I hope it is clear. Now, moving on to the last switch, what we have here is, okay, so let me just write that here. This one, what I'm making is a PMOS. The choice what I'm making is a PMOS. So this is a PMOS. And since it is PMOS, I'm marking it as 5-1 bar. And the body of this PMOS is connected to VDD plus Vin, which is to the coming to the one side. All right. Now, one more switch left. What is your last switch? That is switch number 3. All right. So let us look about the switch number 3 in little more detail than the other switches, because there are certain things which we need to consider. So coming to switch number 3, so I have marked switch like this, and if you look at both sides of the switch, we can see that on this side the voltage is VDD, and on the other side the voltage can be either VDD or it can be VDD plus V. That is the options. That is the possibility, right? Because this node, what I have on the right side, it can either take VDD itself whenever this part is off, or it can actually take VDD plus Vin. So if I write the voltages on either sides of this switch, one will become VDD plus Vin, and on the other side, what I have is, sorry, this side what I have is VDD, and on the other side what I have is VDD plus Vin, or it can be VDD also. Right. Now, if you look at the original circuit, the clock there is 5-2. So that also I'm marking it here. Are you guys with me? Are you guys following? Can I get some response in the chat? Can I get some response? Yes. Yeah. So there is a switch. On the left you have VDD, on the right you have VDD plus Vin. So straight we can say that we cannot use NMOS. NMOS is not suitable, because what I need is extremely high voltage, extremely high in the sense compared to NMOS, which can actually pass a 0 voltage. What we have here is VDD. So for that reason, we will also not use TG also, will not prefer. Right. Now the only option left is a PMOS. So I'll just select a PMOS. Since I'm using a PMOS device, this should be phi2 bar. On left side, what we have is VDD, and on the right side, what I have is Vin plus VDD. Right. And when I say phi2 bar, yeah. So when the device for this switch to turn on, your phi2 should be high, so your phi2 bar will be low, and whenever it is low, the switch will be turning on, and this will be acting, and we will get the suitable voltage on the other side. Right. Now, when the switch, if you look at this, okay, again we have to make a choice here for the body, because now it looks it looks okay, because what I have is VDD and VDD Vin plus VDD with the clock of phi2 bar. Now, when I want to make the substrate connection for this MOSFET, what I do is, based on the previous case, what I do here is I'll connect this towards the right side, because what I have there is Vin plus VDD, which is larger than VDD. So as per our previous reasoning, it is appropriate actually to connect the body terminal towards the right. But now, if you look in detail, because we made a selection of the switch, and if you look in detail about the switch, I'm just marking or writing in this form. So on one side, on the source side, I have the larger voltage, which is Vin plus VDD. And on the other side, what I have is VDD. And when the switch turns off, the voltage coming in here is again VDD. Right. So what I have drawn, the equivalent what I have drawn here is now when the switch turns off, right? Whenever the switch turns off, on one side you have VDD, on the other side you have Vin plus VDD, and the gate also will have a VDD. Now, can you tell me what will be the region of operation of this transistor? We are expecting that the transistor should be actually, in fact, the transistor should turn off, but what can be the what will be the region of operation of this transistor? Whatever I have drawn here is the condition of the switch with the voltages when the switch turns, when the switch is supposed to be turned off. But if you look at the voltages here, especially if you look at the VGS voltage, we can see that your VGS here is actually equal to minus Vin. And we have VGS equal to minus Vin. This is a PMOS device. For the PMOS device, if your VGS is less than VTP, the device will definitely turn on. This will turn on. This will make the device turn on. And also, if you look at the VDS voltage, still you can say that this device is actually pushing, or the device will go into saturation region. Can you see that? Because at this moment, actually the switch is to be off, but unfortunately the selection of PMOS, we have no other option. We cannot choose an NMOS, we cannot choose a transmission gate. The only choice available is PMOS. But by making a PMOS choice, we see that whenever the switch should be turned off, the switch is supposed to be turned off, but the transistor is actually working in saturation region. Is in saturation. Now, what is the problem if transistor is in saturation? If the transistor is in saturation, the switch should be off, but it is on and it is drawing some current. It is drawing actually current from the capacitor which is connected next to it, right? So if that is the case, this is something which is undesirable, right? We want the switch to be off, but the switch is on. Moreover, the switch is in saturation. It is carrying actually a significant amount of current, which is an undesirable scenario. So what should we do? Because we do not have any other choices. We have only NMOS, PMOS, and transmission gate. None of the choices are actually giving any solution for that, right? So you just think on what can be done. Meanwhile, I'll just I'll just draw the complete circuit by the appropriate switches what we have selected so far. So this is Vin, and our first switch is transmission gate switch, which we connect here, where this is phi 1 and this is phi 1 bar. Then from there you have another switch, which is an NMOS switch. So this is connected to phi 2, on the other end of it is connected to ground. Then here you have a capacitor. Now the other end of the capacitor should be connected to an appropriate switch. We are actually discussing about that switch. On this side it is VDD, and here this is switch number 3. And from this point we have one switch, which is a PMOS switch based on the discussion, and this is connected to this point. And from here we have another switch, and the gate of this is connected to phi 2. The gate of this is connected to phi 1 bar, and we have switch number 3 here, and this is capacitor C. If you look at the connections or the substrate connections, all these are ground, and the PMOS should be connected appropriately as we have made the connection here. So this is connected to this point. All right. Now we saw that the switch number 3 cannot be NMOS, PMOS, or a transmission gate. So what can be done for that? Any idea? Any thoughts you can share in the chat? Yeah. So look at this. We have a switch. We have a transistor. Right. And I have a voltage of Vx. The voltage what I need to equalize is Vx. Now, what should be the minimum voltage I should apply to the gate in order to work this as a good switch? The question is, you have a switch. On this side, you have Vx voltage. Right side, you have Vx voltage. You want to equalize a Vx voltage. What is the best, or how can we say that this will act as a good switch? When I say good switch, when it is on, it should give you a minimum resistance with a minimum resistance, and when it is off, it should give a maximum resistance. So what is a suitable choice of voltage here? Are you guys with me? Can I get some response in the chat? All right. So say if you have Vx here and Vx on this side, the minimum voltage what you need here is basically Vx plus the threshold. That is the minimum voltage what I need to turn on the switch. But generally give me a second. Yeah. So generally, to operate it as a good switch, yeah, it is Vx plus Vt. Yes, yes, that is correct. 1 second, give me a minute. There's some. Yeah. So the minimum voltage required is, it is VDD plus, sorry, Vx plus Vt. But for a good switch, what we generally prefer is the gate voltage should be sufficiently large. So we actually look for a voltage of close to VDD. Right. Now, look at this. When your, say for example, when your Vx is equal to 0, this Vg is actually connecting to VDD to make it as a good switch, and by in turn it is actually passing the voltage of Vx is equal to 0. Now the point here we need to understand is, if Vx is non-zero, if Vx is a non-zero voltage, what is the appropriate um, gate voltage? What do you think? If Vx is 0, we can give VDD. If Vx is not 0, what can be the appropriate voltage? I don't know whether my statements are making sense for you. See, this is what I'm looking at it. So this is Vx and Vx. Now I have a clock here. Now in the present case, my clock is phi 2. Right. Now, if Vx is 0, I can remain with phi 2. Now, if your Vx is equal to 0, this phi 2 will be equal to VDD to make it as a good switch. Now, if your Vx is equal to some voltage, say if it is X voltage. So to make, yeah, very good. So to make it as a good switch, your phi 2 can be actually raised to this VDD plus this X voltage. Right. Now, if you look at this switch where we are considering the switch number 3, we have seen that on the voltage what I have here is VDD and Vin plus VDD. So it is appropriately, if we can raise the gate voltage of this phi 2, that will actually help in the working of this switch. So what I meant here is, so this is a switch what you have. So if I have 0 and Vin on the sides to pass, you can actually run with a clock which varies from 0 to VDD. But now in the present scenario, you have a switch where on one side you have VDD and the other side you have VDD plus Vin, where this VDD is the additional voltage which I want to pass here. In that case, if you can appropriately raise your clock from 0 to 2 VDD, this will definitely help. Previously it was VDD, now I have raised that to 2 VDD. Right. So this is what we will do here. So what I need to, or how we are finalizing the switch here is, the appropriate choice what I'm making here is, if I go back to switch number 3, the appropriate choice here is again an NMOS switch, but the gate voltage should be actually connected to 2 VDD, or your phi 2 should be actually, instead of writing in that way, what I will write is, this should be phi 2 plus VDD. Right. Your phi 2 should be actually raised to 1 VDD level high so that it can suitably pass the voltage. Whether it is clear, the discussion what we made with respect to switch number 3, whether it is clear or not. So in that case, I can redraw this with phi 2 plus VDD and with the NMOS switch. This is the NMOS switch, we can actually connect that to the ground. The gate can be connected to the ground itself, the least potential which is available. Are you guys with me? Can I get some response in the chat? All right. Yeah. So this is your complete the bootstrap switch. Now the only question left is how to generate this phi 2 plus VDD. We'll see that and we'll wind up for the day. So now the question is how to generate this voltage of this phi 2 plus VDD. Right. So the simplest way to consider is, say you have phi 2 voltage here. To add a VDD voltage to that, what I can do is I can actually connect to a battery of voltage VDD. This is VDD. I can say that this node is actually phi 2 plus VDD. Right. Going back to the same discussion what we started yesterday for the bootstrap switch, in order to raise the gate voltage to VDD, what I can do is I can actually connect a battery. But connecting a battery just like that is not it is not possible. So what we can do is we can take the same way. We can actually take a capacitor. We can charge the capacitor to VDD, and I can connect it. So if I have phi 2 here, I need to charge this to VDD. So since I need to charge this, what I'll do is I'll actually connect a switch, and to this portion I'll connect to VDD. Right. So whenever the switch get closed, what I'm getting at this point will be, because the capacitor will be charged to VDD, so I can say that this point I'll get phi 2 plus VDD. Is this clear? Whatever I'm doing, is it clear? Can I get some response? So what I need here is I need phi 2 plus VDD as the clock. So if I have phi 2 and if I can charge a capacitor to VDD, then the charge across the capacitor, if it is VDD, I can get the voltage at this node as phi 2 plus VDD. Now, but again, the problem comes here is if I want to turn on this switch, that also need a voltage of phi 2. So say for example, if I need to, on the other cycle, if I need to close this, well, the clock pulse, what I need here is phi 2 bar, not phi 2 bar, it is actually phi 2 bar plus VDD, right? Looking like we are actually entering into a deadlock situation, but actually not. So can I get a response? How far this is clear? How to generate phi 2 plus VDD? Can I get some response? Based on that, I'll continue. Are there any questions? Okay, you're getting. All right. So if you have phi 2, then add a battery to get phi 2 plus VDD. Now, adding that battery is actually replaced by a capacitor where the capacitor is charged to VDD. Capacitor is charged to VDD not on during phi 2, but during phi 2 bar. So you can see that through the switch, the capacitor will be charged to VDD. But in order to turn on that switch or turn off that switch, the voltage what I need is not phi 2 bar, because phi 2 bar plus VDD is required, because the voltage what I want to pass is actually higher than that, right? Now, how to get phi 2 bar plus VDD? If you look at this, you can actually say if you have phi 2 bar, and from phi 2 bar, if I can generate phi 2 bar plus VDD, again by connecting this to another switch, I can actually get here phi 2 bar plus VDD. Now, how is this possible? Well, if I have a switch which can be turned on and off with a voltage of phi 2 plus VDD. Right. So it looks like if we can tie these two circuits together. So when I say tie these two circuits together, I have a voltage here VDD. Now from VDD, I'm using a switch. Let's say I'm having a switch here. Now I'm connecting a capacitor. To this point of capacitor, I have phi 2. Similarly, I have another switch here, another capacitor here, and this side I have phi 2 bar. Now, the voltage what I need here in order to control this switch is, what I'm expecting here is phi 2 plus VDD, but the voltage what I need here is phi 2 bar plus VDD to control. That means the control will actually come from this. In this way, you can connect. You're actually generating. So now to complete the switch, what I can do is if I have phi 2 here, if I use an inverter, I'll get phi 2 bar here. And thereby, we are actually generating a voltage of phi 2 plus VDD. Is this clear? Now, to get the complete circuit, those switches can also be realized using MOSFETs. So what I will do is, thinking this is phi 2, I'll get phi 2 plus VDD. This is capacitor C. This is VDD. Here is another capacitor. Now, if this phi 2 is there, I'll use an inverter to connect this to here, where I'll get phi 2 bar. Here I'll get phi 2 bar plus VDD. And I'll connect this to here, so this switch will be controlled, and I'll connect this to here so that this switch will be controlled. And this circuit is called as a charge pump, and it is named after Nakagome, and we call this as Nakagome charge pump. All right. I hope this part is clear what we have done. So going back to the circuit, this was the bootstrapped sampling switch. From the main circuit, we had additional switches, 5 switches. We made appropriate choice of the switch. We also did appropriate substrate connection. But when we came to this switch, we saw that we want to pass a voltage of VDD and Vin and Vin plus VDD. And with none of the switches, we are actually ending up with the right choice, because NMOS and PMOS were not able to use. When we use NMOS and transmission gates were not suitable. When we came to PMOS, we saw that whenever the switch is supposed to be turned off, the switch is actually remaining in saturation, extracting some current. So then we were looking at the problem, and we identified that since the voltage what I need to pass is VDD times as VDD more than the input voltage, if I can raise the gate voltage to that level, even an NMOS switch can be used for that. So with that, we went for NMOS switch by connecting gate to phi 2 plus VDD. And then we also solved the problem of generating a phi 2 plus VDD signal, because using non-overlapping clock generators, we can generate phi 1 as well as phi 2. But to get phi 2 plus VDD, we need to take the help of this method, where we have ended up getting a charge pump, which is used to generate this large voltage. Right. So this is all about bootstrap switch and the auxiliary accessory circuits. So if you have any questions on this, we can do a discussion.